Good day, learners. Previously, we talked about how to compose great images by knowing what are the rules of composition and the elements. And you also learned how you can still beautify those pictures by using the basic photo editing applications like Adobe Photoshop. Aside from images, you can also use videos as your website content. So in this lesson, let me share with you what makes a video a great hit among its audience and what are the essentials in creating web-friendly video. Let's begin. So what is the role of video in the success of a website? Over the years, video production has evolved not only to be confined on commercial production of films and programs. One of the results of this development is the use of videos in website as its main contents. Now, let us learn what are the role of video in the success of a website. First, videos provide an interactive user experience. For example, using a video, the e-commerce websites can highlight product promotion, provide tutorial, and show customers how products are made. Thus, this will lead to the second role of videos in the success of a website. Now, by watching the video, it encourages users to stay longer on your page. This increases your website stickiness and generates ad revenues. Next, videos can convey more essential data in a shorter time. The user do not need to read a long text and jump from one page to another. The video does it for them conveniently. And lastly, it can drive more traffic. In this manner, since it is convenient, videos can drive more traffic, meaning more and more people will be hooked in your websites. The good thing is that search engines offer video as part of the integrated research results with proper keywords used. So now, before you start rolling that camera to shoot, there are 3 factors you need to know or to consider when creating a perfect camera angle: the framing or the length of shot, the angle of the shot, and the movement involved. Taking a video is not different from taking a still picture. So the rules of composition in digital photography can also be adapted when shooting a video. But let me show you what are those 3 factors. First, we have the camera shots. Now, this draws attention to the subject of the image. It is better to study everything that is in the foreground or background of the subject to help you decide what to include and exclude from your video. First, camera shot is the extreme long shot. It is used to establish a shot and a scene setting. Now, it gives a general impression rather than specific information. It is used to establish a shot and a scene setting. Basically, extreme long shot make your subject appear small against their location. You can use an extreme long shot to make your subject feel distant or unfamiliar. Take a look at this extreme wide shot from the best action movie, Mad Max Fury Road. Next to that is the long shot. Now, a long shot or a full shot, this presents the subject as life size, showing the entire human body with the head near the top of the frame and the feet near the bottom. It also captures details of the background, even if the focus is on the character. If your subject is a person, then his or her whole body will be in view, but not feeling the shot. Here is an example of the long shot from one of the best 2015 movie, The Martian. Next, we have the medium shot. It shows the subject in focus from knees or waist up. This shot is normally used for dialogue scenes. Its variation, it could be over the shoulder shot, positions the camera behind one figure to show other figure in the scene, or the details showing background is minimal. We also have the close-up. It magnifies the subject as it blurs out the background. This shot shows the importance of the subject. Next to that is the last one that we are going to talk about, camera shot, is the extreme close-up. Extreme close-up magnifies what human can experience in reality. This eliminates everything in the background, and usually it is used for a dramatic effect. This is using a tight focus, so even the slightest camera shake or error in focal length is very noticeable. So now let's proceed to the camera angles. Let's describe the different camera angles. Camera angles show relationship between the camera and the object being photographed. It shows emotional information about the subject, which helps viewers see its beauty but also guides them in making judgment of the object. First, we have the eye level, wherein the camera is positioned on a level with the subject. When your subject is at eye level, they are in a neutral perspective, not superior or not inferior. This mimics how we see people in real life, or our line connecting with theirs. Next to that is high angle. The camera is elevated above the subject. This angle makes the subject seem and less significant. Again, in a high angle shot, the camera points down at your object or the subject. It usually creates a feeling of inferiority or looking down on your subject. You also have the low angle. A low angle increases height and gives a sense of speeded motion. This angle leaves fear and insecurity to its viewer. These camera shots most often emphasize power dynamics between characters. Next, we have the bird's eye view. This angle shows a scene from overhead. This shot gives the audience the feeling of godlike position, looking down on the object. It is from way up high, looking down on your subject and a good amount of the scenery surrounding him or her. This can create a great sense of scale and movement. And lastly, we have the oblique or canted angle, also known as Dutch angle. This angle suggests imbalance, transition, and instability. Now, in an oblique or Dutch angle, the camera is slanted to one side. With the horizon lines tilted in this way, you can create a sense of disorientation. Now let's have the camera movements. Okay. In camera movements, first we have the panning or pans. This camera scans a scene horizontally, often placed on a tripod, and the camera is moved to follow a moving object which is kept in the middle of a frame. Panning, remember, is when the camera is moved horizontally from one side to another on a central axis. Okay. Now we have tilting or tilts, is similar to panning in that the camera is in a stationary position, but unlike panning, which looks from side to side, tilting focuses on upwards and downwards movements, or it scans the scene vertically. We also have the dolly shots or tracking shots. The camera is placed on a moving vehicle and moves alongside the action to follow a moving objects. Now, A dolly shot is when the entire camera is mounted on a track and is moved towards or away from the subject. Unlike a zoom shot, the world around the subject moves with the camera. A dolly shot gives the illusions that the viewer is walking towards the subject and can be a great way of creating a sense of intimacy between them. We have the crane shot. A crane shot is similar with a dolly shot, but a crane shot is used to create a dolly shot in the air. How? A crane shot is taken by a camera mounted on a jib, just like this one, or a crane that moves up and down. And now, we have the zoom lens. Probably the most well-known camera move is zooming or zoom out, zoom. Zooming gives the impression of moving closer or further away from the subject. Now, a video zoom lens can change the position of the audience either very quickly or slowly without moving the camera. However, this tends to be unstable with the possibility of distorting the scene. We also have the aerial shot, whether taken from a helicopter or drone. This is very flexible and useful when there is a need for a quick move from a long shot. Now, affordable drones nowadays have made aerial photography more accessible to filmmakers. And lastly, the handheld shot. Handheld shots is a shot taken with the camera being supported only by the operator's hand and shoulder. Handheld camera work entails camera shake from the operator's movements. Now, handheld camera shots denotes a certain kind of gritty realism that make the audience feel as though they are part of a scene, rather than viewing it from a detached position. So, there you go. Those are the things you have to keep in mind if you wanted to use videos for your website, even if you are just a beginner. I hope you learned something from me today. This is your teacher, Teacher Jai. Thank you and see you again.